What's up guys, MrVerry here, and today I'm going to be showing you the end of the Arcanum as well as the Soul Wells. And actually I think, yep, so we're heading towards the end of the Arcanum now, which is where it gets the most intense. And I already showed the beginning of the Arcanum, so that's why I'm not showing the beginning of it. And this is from the same hunt that the Blood Halls was in with Ildil and Diabolus Fox, and you can see we have a Hand of Cursed Fae, a Demon, just a bunch of stuff on us. And at first there was several Warlocks. There's still two Warlocks on us. And I switched from my death equipment as there were undead dragons in the last part, so I was putting that on just in case one of them got a nasty death wave on me, as they do pretty heavy death damage. And the hand is coming back for some more, and unfortunately targets me as I'm targeting the Warlock. So we're just, getting through these guys, nothing too big. And of course with the Ifrits and the hand, I use avalanches in order to deal damage to both of them. As I've said before, hands are honestly one of the worst creatures for sorcerers, with explosions, icicles, avalanches, and frigo being the only method of damage. So here we try to trap the Warlock, and unfortunately he starts to run off, and we end up looting a Ring of the Sky. I got a really nice explosion to finish him off there when he was invisible. So that's pretty cool, looting a Ring of the Sky. I mean, I hunt in Demona, and there are times when I'm doing a full hunt and I don't get a single Ring of the Sky, so just getting it in a spot where there's just several Warlocks as well as tons of other creatures is pretty nice. And this is actually where stuff starts to get pretty intense. Right now there are two hands, both are running, and there's also a Warlock, who you can see I am trying to finish off. And of course, as I'm trying to finish off this Warlock, I get two massive fire elementals on me. And for those of you who don't know, they are somewhat similar to Hellfire fighters. They're much slower, so that's kind of the benefit to them, but they still have a very powerful fire beam that can deal up to 1,000 damage. And I pick up the loot from the hand, at least the nice, the valuables. And you can see the steel boots we looted from the previous area. And we get a hand, a demon, and a couple Warlocks, as well as diabolic imps on us. So this is where things start to get a little messy. All these creatures have the potential to deal a lot of damage, so Diabolus ends up handling the hand while Dylan and I focus on the demon. But yeah, how have you guys been? So I'm actually not starting that job, which is really unfortunate. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to get into a crazy amount of detail, but basically I just had some really shitty luck, and so I will not be starting there, which is unfortunate. It's actually a really good company and I was really looking forward to it, but life goes on and there's always going to be other opportunities, so I look forward to those. And other than that, things have been going alright, I suppose. I can see that the channel is actually growing a decent amount. I'm currently, last time I checked, I was at 953 subscribers, which is absolutely awesome. Only 47 away from 1,000, and that was always what really excited me, was getting up to 4 digits, 1,000. I'm really looking forward to that, and I know it's going to happen soon, and that just that means a lot to me. It's very exciting. So we pick off the Lich, And liches, actually, I know I've said this already, but since the update, when they updated Drafia, liches drop much, much better loot now. They constantly drop gems, they drop strong mana potions pretty often, they drop skull staffs, they just drop much better loot all in all. You can check out the loot statistics to see for yourself. And we're almost through the Arcanum here. We have a little bit of a ways to go, and we encounter our first brain death, which they're not too bad, but mixed in with everything, they cause a little bit of dismay. And of course, as I've said before, they're absolutely terrible with loot. And I attempt to pick off that Diabolic Imp with a Great Energy Beam, of course. So another thing, I'm pretty sure I'm also going to be starting a Fire Emblem, or not Fire Emblem, I already started my Fire Emblem Let's Play, but yeah, let me know if you guys want me to continue that, because I do kind of want to continue it, but I also have been thinking about focusing my efforts on something else, like possibly doing another Pokemon Let's Play. I think that would be fun. I was thinking about doing Pokemon Emerald. But if you guys have any ideas, let me know. So here we have a couple Warlocks, and I must have accidentally paused there, and because the Undead Dragon got lured. And you can see him over to the right. Diabolus is trying to handle the Undead while Dylan is staying close to me to protect me, as well as handle the Warlock. And so one of the Warlocks is down, and we got another one left, unfortunately, as well as the Undead Dragon, who is running around like crazy, and who actually just retargeted onto me, which got a little scary, but luckily they bring him down quite quickly, and we end up not having too much of a problem. And of course, using the Great Mana Potion on myself. And I believe we are very close to the entrance of the Soul Wells. I'm not sure if there's another Undead Dragon or not. When you get to the end of the Arcanum, there's actually several Undead Dragons, as well as demons and Warlocks, so it's a pretty intense area. And the hands, too. The hands are, while they are really not that much of a problem, when they are at full health and you have everything else on you at the same time, it can be a bit scary. So I put up a energy wall immediately in order to make the Undead Dragon walk around a little bit. And I go to change my hotkeys for whatever reason. And I get a very mean beam, or wave, by the Undead Dragon. And I start using my waves on the Undead Dragon, as energy is really the only thing you can use, so being a sorcerer in this situation is much better than being a druid, at least for the Undead Drags. But Undead Dragons are really impossible for a sorcerer to hunt until around level 300 safely, just because of the huge amounts of damage they can deal and their combos. So I spot the Warlock, obviously, and use an explosion in order to knock him out of invisibility. And we are at the entrance to the Soul Wells. Now, the Soul Wells are a pain in the ass. The Lost Souls, they do drop better loot now. Before, when they were first introduced, everyone hated them and would just put them to red so they would run, because they're one of the few creatures that doesn't heal and runs away. But now that they drop somewhat decent loot, we have no problem with killing them. The Betrayed Race, as I've said, and as I said in the Blood Halls video, are actually a major pain in the ass, especially for sorcerers, because they're only they can only be hit by physical and ice, and they are 50% immune to ice. The Spectres are kind of difficult for paladins. They do have the advantage with Holy being one of their weaknesses, and sorcerers have a huge advantage because Spectres are weak both to fire and energy. And actually, I got to hunt in the hard spirit grounds, except for I was at my girlfriend's house, so I need to get that file from her computer. I used I used my recording program, and so I just got to get that file and edit it. But it was awesome. I ended up hunting there for a little bit. There's a lot of nightmares, some nightmare scions, and phantasms and specters scattered throughout. Now, phantasms and specters are seriously one of the best things for a sorcerer to hunt. They're both 10% weak to fire and energy, and they have physical either immunities or strengths. So you can see why I say it's so advantageous. And I'm getting very badly hurt here because of the phantasms and the lost soul. So we see which phantasms are real and start to focus on them. Unfortunately, phantasms summon 3 fakes every single time, so that can make things a little difficult. But with the paladins using their mass sand, and me using my UE's great fireball, it's actually not too difficult. And that is the nice thing, where paladins can't do any physical damage to phantasms, it's nice that at least they can deal some damage to them with, you know, their holy attacks. And phantasms drop a really, really rare item that I've wanted to get for a long time, and actually on my first or second phantasm in the hard spirit grounds, I ended up looting it. And what it is it's an abyss hammer, and it's a very cool looking item, as well as a pretty valuable item and pretty rare. It doesn't have much practical use. It's a two-handed club with 47 attack, but it is very rare and nice collector's item, so I was happy to get it, and it's now proudly displayed in my house. So you can see that the betrayed wraiths really are a genuine pain in the ass, simply because of their great healing abilities, as well as their immunities to so much different magic. Luckily, with 2 paladins here, they're able to use holy and physical and deal the sort of damage that, you know, is needed to take them out quickly. At least somewhat quickly as you can kill a betrayed wraith. And I kind of strayed off too far to the right here, I think at some points. You really, when you're trying to get to Annihilion, the boss ahead, you really want to hug the left shoulder, because that's how you encounter the least amount of creatures and get to the boss. So the Spectre was almost lined up for a very perfect energy wave, but unfortunately Dylan moved a little bit, and right here things get a little crazy because we get 2 lost souls and 2 specters on us. So I use my Rage of the Skies again, of course, trying to clear things out for us, and we get a phantasm as well, so things quickly get crazy. And of course this makes me a little nervous simply because these are the sort of creatures that switch targets a lot and can deal very severe damage to me easily. So I was actually very happy that I made it through this successfully. There were many points during this video where I thought that, well, I knew I could have easily died, but luckily didn't. And some of that is due to a thank you owed to Dylan and Diabolus for being so awesome and, you know, keeping with me. So you can see just how many creatures we just had on us. It was a little crazy, and well, I try to grab the loot, but I also try to avoid the phantasms. So we ended up setting up energy walls in order to try to keep them the hell away from us, but unfortunately that does not end up working. And like I said, I should be using great fireballs as well as thunderstorms. However, I only have avalanches here because I thought we were just going to go hunt the blood halls, and avalanches are really what you need there. Had I known we were going to do this, I would have brought great fireballs as well as thunderstorms. So we have a betrayed wraith and a demon on us, so the best thing for me to do is to use my SDs as fast as I can on the demon, or I could also avalanche to deal some damage to both creatures. But since the demon's targeting me, and for fear of the betrayed wraith switching or more creatures coming, at first I was just focusing on SDing the demon down. So yeah, I wanted to say hello, and I'm glad that you have joined the channel. To all of my new subscribers and to all of my old subscribers, I'm glad you're still here with me, and I hope you're enjoying the content. Definitely let me know what you guys think of, like I said, another Pokemon Let's Play, or me continuing with the Fire Emblem Let's Play. Of course, the Tibia videos are always going to be coming, that's a definite. It's just a matter of when. And now things are really narrowed down since I've already done so much. And a lot of the stuff I want to do is only available on certain days. So it really limits me, unfortunately. Like, I want to show you guys the hard spirit grounds, but those are rarely available. Since they've been released, in my world at least, I've only seen them once, and I've checked almost every day. I also want to show you guys the Forsaken Mines when the Lost are actually there, and I try to check there often and see if the Lost are there, and every time I check, it's either the Cyclopses, the Rorks, or the, oh shit, what else is there? Or the Leaf Golems. So I really just have had bad luck with trying to, or actually getting to see the stuff I want to see and to show you guys it, which does suck, but you know, with time I'll definitely be able to show you guys all of it, and I'll be able to see all of it for myself. Definitely had an awesome time, like I said, at the Hard Spirit Grounds. They are amazing for sorcerers. Seriously, one of the best spots a high-level sorcerer can hunt, especially for money. It's decent on experience, but for money, you really can't beat it. So we continue on here in the Soul Wells, and we're actually not too far out now. We're actually really close. And we're going to have a little fight with Annihilion, and unfortunately, both Ildil and Diabolus end up dying, and I come very close to death, so you guys will get to see that. We end up getting Annihilion down to, like, I don't know, less than a quarter HP too, which really sucks. I was so excited to actually, you know, get to kill him and see what we got, you know. Whenever you're killing one of the Inquisition bosses, you can be sure that you're going to loot at least 50k usually in rares, sometimes, and you have the potential to loot way more, you know. You've got the one that drops a Demon Wing Axe, you have the one that drops Golden Boots, so there's the potential for those really, really nice rares. And some of them even drop items that you get from doing the Inquisition quests, like a Spellbook of Dark Mysteries, for instance. So, definitely cool. And the Spellbook of Dark Mysteries has kind of become less of an iconic item since they introduced the Spellbook of Ancient Arcana, which is an extra magic level, as well as the 5% death protection. And at one point it was the main spellbook with +3 magic level. Now that's not the case. You can get the Snake God's Risk Guard, which gives you which is a spellbook with +3 magic level, and it's very easy to obtain. And then there's the Spellbook of Vigilance, which was introduced with the Gnomes, which is also very easy to obtain. So you can see why it's kind of gotten devalued simply by the other items being introduced. So over on my map right now, right to the southeast, you can see the yellow square, and of course that's where we're going to be going. That is the entrance to Annihilion's ward. And we're not going to be in there too long, unfortunately, as things get a little crazy. And you see I don't have time to pick up all this loot. We're just kind of trying to rush through this. And unfortunately I get a betrayed wraith on me, but I haste and try to catch up with my team. And we end up finishing off this guy just so that we can, you know, pot up and get our shit together before we decide to go in. And as I've said before, the reason I'm actually not doing a live commentary, and I'm sure most of you guys can tell that, and the reason for that is in these areas it would be far too difficult for me to do a live commentary when I'm trying to have some consistent communication with my teammates. So one of the biggest problems with Annihilion is that he uses death spawns, and they are these mean little frogs that can do a hell of a lot of damage. So what you want to do is put down as many fire bombs as you can so that they can't reproduce, because if you don't, they're constantly reproducing. And then when they do reproduce, you need to kill them with either a mass sand or an avalanche or great fireball, just whatever you can use. So I see that, and you see how fast Dylan gets dropped. It was within one hit. He really didn't have a chance with all those death spawns on him. And I think I end up using Rage of the Skies to clear out a lot of these here. Obviously I'm pretty scared, as you know, the death spawns can do very heavy damage along with Annihilion, and the nice thing about him is that he's very slow, so it's pretty easy to keep distance from him. But when he does catch you, he deals heavy damage, and even if he doesn't catch you, you have his death spawns dealing heavy damage to you. So I start avalanching in order to take out the death spawns as well as deal damage to Annihilion at the same time. And you can see that the fire bombs that we've used, we just kind of use as a runaround. And you can see that I'm at a terribly low amount of mana. You can just imagine just how scared I was during a lot of these parts. And unfortunately, what would have been best, and I thought I was dead for sure here, right there. You saw how low of mana I was at, and, you know, Annihilion was on me, and so was the death spawns. So I take this time away from them to actually put out some fire bombs and pot up, as I'm at too low of mana to actually handle this right now. And I also continue avalanching to the north to deal damage to both Annihilion and the death spawns. And I use a Rage of the Skies, which unfortunately does not hit Annihilion, so that was actually just a big waste of mana for me. It may have. It didn't look like it did on my screen, so it probably didn't. But we see that Annihilion is in about half health now, maybe a little lower. So at this point, I was pretty hopeful that with just me and Diabolus left, that we would be able to handle him. And like I said, it would be great if I had great fireballs here, because the avalanches do not kill the death spawns immediately. Whereas the great fireballs would most likely. Although I don't know their resistances, I do think that they are weaker to fire than they are to ice, as they do say to bring fire bombs here, so it's kind of, you know, a given that that's what you want to use. but I don't know. They could be equal, it could be less, it could be more. I really do not know. So we're getting close to the end here, and things are about to get grim for Diabolus, unfortunately, and uh, Dylan didn't even have a chance there. You saw how quickly he got one-shotted. I mean, that was just crazy. The Death Spawns plus Annihilion must have gotten a nasty combo on him. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy the content I produce, subscribe to my channel. And also, make sure to let me know if you guys want to see another Pokemon. I'm most likely going to do Emerald. I can do any of them from the Game Boy Advanced or Game Boy Color, so definitely let me know. And if you want to see more Fire Emblem, then let me know that too. I'm considering continuing that Let's Play, but I'm not sure. Also, I can continue the Dishwasher too, but the quality just isn't what you guys are going to want it to be. So we see here that I get very close to death. I'm surrounded by death spawns, and look at that HP. Oh my god, I thought I was dead for sure, and I barely, just barely make it back to the retreat. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed.